How on earth does a country go from being a pretty small player in a huge global market to its undisputed champion? Well, today we're going to unpack the incredible story of Brazil's journey to becoming the world's soybean superpower. Just look at this number, 40%. That right there is the key to this whole story. It means that 40% of every single soybean grown on the entire planet now comes from Brazil. That's a level of dominance that was, pretty much unthinkable just a few decades ago. So that's the big question, isn't it? How did this happen? How did a nation whose climate was once seen as a massive roadblock for this crop completely flip a script and come to dominate the global market? To get that answer, we've got to rewind the clock and look at the crop's very humble beginnings in Brazil. And believe me, it was a really, really slow start. Soybeans first showed up in Brazil way back in 1882, but for more than 50 years, basically nothing happened. Seriously, commercial farming was so tiny, they didn't even bother keeping official stats until 1949. Through the 60s and early 70s, they tried to expand, but they just hit a wall, a climate wall. The kind of soy they were using was meant for mild climates, not the tropics. They were completely and utterly stuck. Okay, so this is where the story takes a fascinating scientific turn. The bottleneck wasn't a lack of land or ambition. It was biology. It was time to crack the code. And this is the hero of our story, Embrapa, the Brazilian Agricultural Research Corporation. This is a state-owned company, and it was given a very clear, very ambitious mission. Go develop the technology needed to unlock Brazil's massive agricultural potential. So here's the deal. The problem was temperate soy. It could only really grow in Brazil's cooler south, and its productivity was just awful in the country's huge tropical regions. But Embrapa's solution? Tropicalized soy, a genetically adapted variety that actually thrived in the heat. This was the absolute game changer. It unlocked the massive Cerrado region, an area everyone thought was totally useless for this kind of crop. So with this new tech in hand, the race was officially on. Brazil wasn't just growing soy for its own use anymore. It was challenging the longtime world leader, the United States, for that #1 spot. And the shift was dramatic. I mean, for decades, the U.S. was the undisputed king of soy, with Brazil way, way behind. But then, everything changed. Brazil didn't just catch up. It literally rocketed past the United States to become the new global leader. It was an absolutely incredible transformation. So what was the secret sauce? What fueled this insane growth? Well, it was kind of a perfect storm. Those new soy varieties opened up enormous new areas for farming, like the Cerrado. Productivity per hectare just soared. And at the exact same time, global demand, especially from China, was absolutely exploding. All of this was backed by nonstop investment in research and getting the stuff to market. Which brings us to today. Right now, Brazil's rise isn't seen as just some temporary surge. It's a fundamental shift in who exactly is feeding the planet. Just for the 2024 to 2025 harvest, Brazil's production is estimated at a mind-boggling 171.5 million tons. And you know what? The projections just show it's going to keep on growing from there. And this brings us right back to that 40% figure from the beginning. Brazil's slice of the global pie is just enormous. It dwarfs its main competitors, the former leader, the US, and its neighbor, Argentina. So why does all of this matter? Well, because soy is the absolute bedrock of Brazil's entire agribusiness sector. It's the single biggest contributor to its agricultural trade balance. This one little bean puts Brazil right at the center of the global food chain as a critical supplier of protein and oil for the rest of the world. When you step back, the whole journey is just remarkable. It went from a crop that couldn't even grow to a major scientific breakthrough to total global domination. It leaves us with one final thought. From a scientific gamble to the world's breadbasket, what will Brazil's soy revolution fuel next?